Hey YouTube, not got a guitar. That's because it's an unboxing video. I bought myself a new bass. This came up on Friday night, Saturday night on eBay, and when you see these things come up, it's like a lot of the guitars I like, they don't come up very often, and I don't think I've ever actually seen one of these before. So I did it a little bit. As soon as you see it, as I see an advert that says, buy it now or best offer, you have to. There's a wee bit of haggling involved. I end up getting like 20 quid off it, just because it said best offer, which I can't ignore that. So this should be fun. I don't know how exciting unboxing videos are. I think we've quite interested in the last one. I might title it with a clickbait type title of oh, I've got a new bass or something like that. Maybe get some hits. So although it's a massive box, it's not a double neck. I don't buy double necks, I make them. I like the woman bought this, but the woman bought it in 1986. The guitar is 1983, so that was quite a big box with an Ibanez. And so the guitar's 1983, so it's possible it's new, because she might not be that accurate with the 1986. Also, you don't know how accurate, how long it's sat in the shop for. It's quite feasible you could buy it brand new in 1984. It's like, if it was a 1983 model, it could have not even got to the shop till 84 and sat for a year. So, don't know. So I don't know whether it was first hand or whether she bought it used. The woman was quite funny though. Quite like her. She said when I got it, I just arrived 10 minutes ago. Parcel force. And she told the guy the courier who picked it up to guard it with his life, and apparently he looked at her like she was a total idiot. It's like, I thought, yes, that's the sort of thing I would do. That's fine. Also, it's quite funny. I noticed at the top of it, obviously it's got the fragile tape on it. She's also written, "This contains an old guitar. Please be kind," which is like quite funny. I've got plenty of time for that sort of silliness. When you're sort of, why not spend an extra 5 seconds being sort of funny? Kind of live that way. Right. This didn't take very long to get into. I was expecting this to be a bit longer with the. I even went and looked at a proper Stanley knife because I cut my finger on the Stanley knife blade that I've been using. So here we go. So exciting. Oh, tell what it is yet? I might actually even be able to plug this in, possibly, because I'm expecting this one to work. The video I did a couple of weeks ago when I got my last bass in, was a little bit disappointed because I didn't realise it had been painted red. I thought it was a red one. So this one hopefully is going to be better. Looking at it, I noticed this in the advert, it's got Schaller tuners on it, which I don't think will be original to this bass. You've seen it before, I have. Oh, it's rather nice, isn't it? So this is a Washburn Force 8 Yamaki built 1983. Yep, could do a wee bit of truss rod adjustment, but it's playing pretty good as it is. So I've got a couple of Force guitars. In fact, I've got 3 Force guitars. I've got a Force 3, which is a 3 pickup Strat layout, a Force 2, which used to be owned by Onslow from Keeping Up Appearances, which is 2 humbuckers, and then I've got another Force 2 which has got 1 humbucker. I was always a little bit disappointed that the 1 humbucker one wasn't a Force 1, so I had 1, 2 and 3. So I've got 2, 2, 3. I bought a Force 4 bass, which I shouldn't have bought. I bought it in a shop in town, and what had happened is it had been dropped in the neck. So this is a solid, I'll show you why it had done that. So this is a solid maple neck. Is it just separate fingerboards? But so the way this works, this is basically a P bass. The outline is a P bass. If you ignore the cutaway bit, it's exactly a P bass. It's just that these cuts are much deeper, and the way they got round that is the neck. Look here, it's a bolt-on neck. Let's say the neck bolts are here. That's because the neck actually comes into here and below the scratch plate. It's kind of extended. That's how they managed to get such a high cutaway. So this is, you can easily play on the 22nd fret, 15, 17, 19, 20, 22nd fret, like unfettered access to the 22nd fret, so never got that far. I like the blue. Through strung, Washburn Bridge is the kind of the same. I've kind of got some of these parts because I've got that Force 4. So what happened was when the Force 4 got dropped, bang, it split the body. The neck survived because maple necks are super rock solid, and I tried clamping it and gluing it, and basically I just got down to the point of I really just need to make another body for it. So I can draw around the old body or draw around this one and put it on. I was expecting this to have a V profile neck, which it doesn't have, which I'm surprised about. Sounds lovely. So I'm just gonna go for plugging it in. These those knobs don't look original either. They look like they're quite fancy actually. I quite like them. Might leave them on. Kind of look. Do they call them cooker knobs? Yeah. So apparently this lovely lady who sold me it, a few wee dents on the outside. They were in the pictures on eBay. The neck itself is very, very nice condition. The frets are a little bit dirty, but I wouldn't have said they were too. They're not in bad condition. The action's sitting slightly high just because the truss rod needs adjusted. So if I might actually just try and plug this in. See, that didn't take very long to open it up. So is it this one here? The new lead is the one that goes into the base. And I can hear it working. Oh. Yep. Something funny going on there is when you turn the tone control to nothing, it turns off the bass. So I think these pots might be a bit goosed. I've got a feeling I've been using this amp for playing acoustics through, so I've probably turned up all the brightness settings and stuff. Yeah, so there we go. It's absolutely lovely, it really is. It's beautiful. It does need the action's slightly high, but it's still totally playable. That's kind of one of the things you can always tell when you get like a pure amazing guitar, even though it's not set up to absolute perfection. It's probably not been adjusted since 1986, and over time these things need adjusted. But even a badly set up, really good guitar, you can still tell when you play it. It's good. So look-wise, I see a bit of Rickenbacker bass in it. I sort of enough that I'm going to justify using it in the After End Black Sabbath band, because Geezer Butler played a Rickenbacker bass for a concert. I don't know how long he had it for. There's one of the Never Say Die video. Like the Never Say Die concert from 1978, I think he's playing a Rickenbacker bass. So this has kind of got the look of a sort of slightly Rickenbacker-y look, but it's got the sound of a P-bass. Interestingly, I noticed that the P-bass pickups on the 4 series are the wrong way around. When I say wrong way around, I just mean normally. Yes. See, this pickup is normally towards the neck, and this pickup is normally towards the bridge, which we're thinking, that doing it that way gives you the bassier strings will be slightly bassier and the treble strings will be slightly treblier, whereas the bassier strings will be slightly treblier and the treble strings will be slightly bassier. So it might end up being a better system. I don't know how. So as far as Force series goes, they're kind of forgotten about really. The Force continued on after the Yamaki ones, and they don't look like this. So you get your original Force series being this, which I suppose you could argue if that's their Gibson Les Paul type range, this is their Fender. type range, sort of like a Strat or a P bass. So you get the 2, which is a guitar. It's got either one humbucker or 2 humbuckers, and much this shape. The 3 is a guitar again. It's a sort of more Stratty layout with 3 single coils. The 4 is a bass like this, and the 4's 8 has binding on it. I don't think there's much difference between a 4 and an 8 apart from the binding. There's also one with an active EQ in it. I can't remember exactly what it's called. As I was saying with the Force series, so these are, it does say on the headstock, I quite like the sort of, quite an interesting string retainer there, and I quite like the sort of competition stripe that go up to the Washburn bit. A sort of Telecaster type headstock. Someone told me before I didn't like that headstock. I like it, I think it's cool. As I said, this one's got Schaller tuners on it, which I think are replacements. I'd imagine Schaller tuners are actually probably quite expensive as well. You're probably talking 50 quid's worth of tuners on it to start with. But I do have the option, because I've got the Force 4 bass, that I can use the original Washburn tuners off that if I really wanted to. But I will actually get that other one fixed up just for the sake of it. I've been toying with doing it for ages, and I was going to build the body and I was going to paint it Black Sabbath colour somehow. The one I had was black, and I would have been getting painted anyway because I don't really like black guitars. But it plays absolutely amazing. I'd have no problem taking this in, playing this at a gig right now. Maybe not. I know that the volume control's alright. There is something funny going on with the tone controller. It doesn't. It seems to be like another volume. I wonder if it could just be dirty. So I can't let you hear. This is it. Also, I think perhaps the tone control is wedged on full. Doesn't seem to be very spanky. But in saying that, the pickups are very low in the body. My setup will involve adjusting the truss rods, cleaning the frets, raising the pickups up a little bit, and having a look to see why this tone control isn't doing anything. But apart from that, ready to rock. So you might find a video. What I should have done was, I could have looked out the Force guitars and hung them in the wall behind me like I did. I laid out all the Wing series to get, because that bass was coming. So I could have laid out the Force series and had the 3 Forces, and then this one. So is that the full Force set I've got? Might be the 2, 3, 4, and 8. I need to have a look. There's another one. I think it might be called a Force 40 or a Force 80 or something like that, because it's got but it's more just a pickup thing. It's got active circuits in it, I think. This was available in one of the ones that made it into the BBR series, so you get like the black, everything's black apart from it's got red binding. The reason they'll have chosen the Force 8 to do that with is because it's got binding, whereas a BBR doesn't work if you don't have binding, really, because then you just got a black guitar basically with red. I would just have a red logo, red logos on the pickups and red numbers. So you need to have binding in order to make it worthwhile having a BBR. As I was saying there about the Force series, I'm padding it out because it only took me about 2 seconds to get into the box. I was expecting 5 minutes of trying to get into it. It's arrived in 100% good condition. I haven't put a strap on it because it did say in the advert that the strap button's missing, so I'll need to. It's been pulled out as well, so basically what I'll do there is I'll stick we've got wooden kebab skewers, one of them goes in there, gets snapped off, and I'll put another one on, and that's it, sorted. Has it got one there? It does. That's interesting, it doesn't have the Toblerone neck like I was expecting. The Force 3 I've got's got a Toblerone neck. The Force 2s have a slightly V-shaped neck. This one doesn't, but it's a beautiful piece of wood, it really is. It's like when you look at these, you can just tell by the quality of the actual wood. I don't know if it's actually going to show up, but I mean it's lovely, and it's like, see the sort of grain lines like this. This might mean it's quarter sawn. I might have just made that up, but the grain lines all run central down the middle of it. So, and it's lasted 40 years. so far. 40 years, 1983. Coming up for 40 years, 37 years old. And blue's quite interesting as well. You don't get that many blue guitars. I've actually got a blue A20. Right, and the last thing, again, which I was going to about the Force series. So you got the Force series that looked like this, basically. Unfortunately, this one, there's a PV base you get. Is it called a Milestone or something like that? Which kind of, to the untrained eye, looks a little bit like this. That's not this guitar's fault though. That's just because PV sort of copied it. And then up till, I don't know when they stopped making these, maybe, I think they were still making them Tushin times, so maybe 83, 84 type thing. And then there was another Force series, which it was called the Force series, but they were numbered like G10, G20, etc. Wayne in Wayne's World plays a G20 guitar, which isn't this shape, for a couple of years. And then in 1987, I think it was still called the Force series when they moved on to the next G. I've got a G15 from 1987, which is more like as is now getting into the super strat things. Maybe they're not actually. I don't think they were. I think it's there's a thing in the middle. Those the Tushin built ones, the one that Wayne played, in Wayne's World, were Force series and they were G something. Whereas I think after that they were just G something. I don't know if they were still called Force series. Yeah, so this is getting, it doesn't really need cleaned up as such, it's pretty clean. It just needs the tone control looked at, a wee bit of truss rod adjustment. It's not a ball here off the frets in the middle there, you're a couple of mil up. It's not bad, you know, it's certainly nothing like unplayable. It's just, but when you're like me and it's like you can fix these things. I just know it can be better, and I've not even tuned it either, so it's still in tune. And again, this pot, which I think it's likely just the pot has died as opposed to anything. I don't imagine it's been messed about with. I might have a look to see what the original knobs should look like, and maybe I think it's probably just P-bass knobs. In fact, the Force 4, it's got sort of brass. It's got brass knobs actually. Maybe nab the brass knobs and put them in this. I don't know. At least temporarily, like. Well, I want to play this. That's my plan for this afternoon. I'm just going to sit and play this. It's very light, so it's kind of like a bit of getting the sort of Rickenbacker look without the horrible Rickenbackerness that nobody likes. It's got sort of odd pickups, and the necks are really thin, and they're sort of really strange basses. I don't think I've actually ever played a real one. I used to have an Ibanez one years and years and years ago, which was awful. That could have just needed set up. I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. I just bought it because I thought it looked like a Rickenbacker, but it was Ibanez. I've no idea when it was from, or anything like that. But it didn't sound good, whatever was wrong with it. Also, I seem to remember the bridge, it just rattled. So I mean, this is before I knew what I was doing, so I had like matchsticks wedged into the bridge to stop the saddles rattling when you were playing notes and stuff like that, and it was like, it wasn't great. And I hear things about Rickenbacker basses when people try them. It's like I think that Rickenbacker are a wee bit like that with their guitars as well. They're very different from other guitars. You know, they've got their own thing going on, which you either love or hate. I remember my pal, I was in a band called Baxter in Paisley. Lovely guy Simon, the singer, had his dad bought him a guitar for his 25th or whatever, for his birthday. Because I would get like, you know, you're obviously quite into this guitar thing. You'll get you the real guitar, and he bought like the Rickenbacker that looks like Pete Townshend's one. I can't remember, the sort of one that looks a wee bit like a Pac-Man, you know, from the old game. And I found it really bizarre. It seemed to be, the neck seemed to be sitting up here, and the pickups were about that height off the body, and the strings were there, so you were sort of playing it out. It felt like you were playing it out here somewhere. It probably was only, you know, probably only 10 mil different, but it really felt strange because you were, obviously the strings were fine on the neck, but because the neck was sitting up here somewhere and the bridge was really high, it felt really weird. Yeah, so rock on, Washburn Force 8. I bought this for myself. I shouldn't have. I bought that one for myself as well. So that's been 2 bases in a month that I bought for myself. I feel a little bit guilty about it, but as I said, I've never seen one of these. I don't think I've ever seen a blue one. They kind of go under the radar. They're not expensive for what it is you get. I mean, you're still in Squire territory here, money wise, but not quality or build wise. It's absolutely stunning to play. It's so smooth. Rock on! 20 minutes. I don't know if anyone will watch it, but hey, it was an unboxing and a bit of a chat.